Welcome to Cinemaphile, where we bring you the best in independent, documentary, and foreign films, and we talk to the people who made them. I'm your host, Mike Caspar, and you can find out more about the program by going to cinemaphilepod.com. After a night of partying, David drunkenly falls off a terrace while his friend Juan watches helplessly. David's body hits the hood of a car and shatters into 1,000 pieces. Since no one else seems shocked by this, Juan sets out to discover just what happened, finding himself immersed in a labyrinth of fleeting romances, unbreakable friendships, and pianos falling out of the sky. Now, if you don't get from that particular introduction that you're in for a wild ride, you're not paying attention, because this is the Fantastic Golem Affairs. We are joined today by the co-directors Juan González and Fernando Martínez. To both of you, welcome to the program.
Hi, how are you doing?
I meant what I said. You know, you want to see a film that is going to keep you guessing, keep you laughing, keep you wondering really what is going on, even though you get some version of the quote unquote truth as the film progresses. It's a wild ride. I don't know which one to ask first as to the inspiration for this. Juan, I'll start with you. What inspired this?
A while ago, we watched this movie called Top Secret. I think it's from the 80s. And there's this particular scene where this one of the main characters punches a German military in the face, and then he falls from this castle, well, from this tower. And when he hits the ground, he breaks in little pieces. And we were wondering, imagine that this happens in real life. What should the people think about this? Imagine what the family of this guy was wondering. Like, okay, dad fell from a tower and he break into little pieces. What was that? What happened? And that's well, like the main essence of the movie. Like we thought, like, what could happen if someone dies in this weird way, and then you have to perform an investigation to know what happened, and your family is wondering what happened with dad, or with my dad, with my brother, or whatever, when why he died this way. And that's, well, the main idea we had to write the script.
Right. If I'm not mistaken, that was one of the Abrams brothers films, the guys who did Airplane, or the ones who did Top Secret.
Yeah.
And that was Val Kilmer, if I'm not mistaken, that
Yeah,
punched the gorilla, I believe. And yeah.
I think that the scene Juan refers to is the I don't know how he's called, like the black guy, you know,
yeah, I can't remember.
Okay. Oh, it was somebody else. Okay.
yeah, it
Yeah,
looks like MA, you know,
yeah,
the
the
MA
guy
Baracus.
from the team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay. So what is so inventive and creative about this film is the dichotomy of his friend wondering what just happened, and then the normalcy, quote unquote, I'll put quotes around normalcy, of the funeral and of everyone else's reaction to it, which again sets in motion just about everything that follows. Fernando, let's talk about that. Just sort of the contrast of what just, and I won't use the word I want to use, what the F just happened, and then immediately you're at a funeral service where everyone's treating this like, so what? I mean, they don't even respond. So go ahead. That tone that you set early on in the film is what.
Well, I think for us it's always been important to, in our films or in our movies or the stories we tell, to normalize fantasy. So in in that way we can like exaggerate things. So if we want to talk about this certain feeling or this anything, if you normalize fantasy, you can make it like crazier. And when you make things crazier, it's easier to explain those feelings. No, imagine his friend died like normally, like I don't know, a heart attack or whatever. You could not like explain this craziness of this guy who always lived with a friend who take care of him, and it was like the only thing that kept him protected from the world. And then it would be more like a intimate drama,
Mhm.
or like another type of films. But we want to do comedy, so if you want to explain like big things in comedy, you have to, well, we think we have to use this kind of craziness.
Hmm.
And when you mix reality and craziness, it's a strange feeling where it's not that crazy, because then you
Yeah.
go to the streets and everything is really crazy now. So and then you say, oh well, maybe this guy could shatter, and it's not that strange. And if you do it in the first scene, you're saying, okay, this is what you're going to see. Welcome to our world. Now everything can happen.
Right. And I've always been a big believer in filmmaking where once you establish the premise, once you get that sort of underway, then you should, as a viewer, be ready to accept the new reality, the new internal logic of the story. And I think that's what you do in this film. You ask the audience to accept this inherently unusual and clashing reality. And once you do, then you're in for the ride. And that, I think, is the essence of really good storytelling. Have the audience aware, you know what, this isn't going to be like a regular film. And once you're in, you're in. You should be. If you like film, this is the kind of film that would appeal to you, right?
You said it so much better than I.
Well, I want to talk about the cast because the cast also is this clash, this sort of back and forth between what a normal, quote unquote, normal kind of set of affairs, and then the ability of these actors to again internalize what you're doing in the film. So I generally wait till we talk about the acting in this, but this is so critically important to the success of the film. What went into your casting procedure? One, how did you pick the people that we see in the film?
Well, the thing is, the main actors in the movie are like really big stars in Spain. And when we wrote this movie and we passed the script to the production company, they told us this cast that you propose, it's not gonna make this kind of film. And we sent the well those actors and actresses the script, and suddenly we realized that everyone was getting on board, and the production company was really impressed, like how these people is accepting these roles. And yeah, well, the thing is, we also like to play with the actors and like build the characters with them. And also yeah, and there was like this process before shooting, that when we were speaking with them about the roles and how they see his character, how he can construct a character with us. And yeah, they definitely do a great work with us, and we, yeah, work like with them how those characters will live in this particular world that we propose. And yeah, it was a beautiful process, I think. Like we had we were really lucky because we had like 3 or 4 weeks with actors just to develop more the characters and do the final versions of the script, with the opinions and well, his way of seeing this character. At the end, it was, yeah, a beautiful process.
We fancy this kind of game some directors do, like, when Amani Corinne made Spring Breakers, and he get like the Disney star actress, or when Wes Anderson makes his films and there's like the all stars in these crazy movies, or as we just see, like the Yorgos Lanthimos with now he's, playing with these big stars in the states. And we thought like it would be funny to get the all stars of Spain into this crazy low budgety movie. It's not that low budget because in Spain's budgets are really low, and make this game that people never expect as a directors and the actors as actors. And we build this kind of family that we really fancy now. Like
Yeah.
it's fun to play with things people don't expect. In the same way, we get this main character, kind of hero, but he's not a hero. He's not even like that masculine as, but everyone wants to lay with him, no? And we
Right.
construct this kind of breaking patterns.
Well, I can imagine that you must have conversations when the actors signed on and they started rehearsing. Did they give you some kind of a consistent reason as to why they wanted to play? Because this is a little bit akin to going back to the Abrams analogy that I made earlier. Leslie Nielsen, at the time that he did Airplane, was not that kind of an actor. Liam Neeson, who's revived kind of that same, kind of film, but it's the idea that playing against type, it opens their careers up. It opens up their opportunities for other people to see them in a different light. I would assume that's part of the reason why some of these actors did this.
I guess like the biggest start in the movie that wasn't our friend before the movie was Luis Tosar. He's kind of big in Spain, and
He plays the role of the main character father.
yeah.
Yeah.
And when we proposed to the production company, we want Luis Tosar, and they said like it's gonna be difficult because I don't know if we can reach him or whatever. He doesn't do these kind of things, but then we knew his agent, because his agent is our friend's agent too, and we contact him and we said like we want him to read the script, and the first time we talked with him, he was like, okay, the main reason I said yes and the main reason I'm now talking with you is because nobody normally proposes me these kind of things. Like nobody se atreve, ¿cómo sería?
Dares.
Nobody dares to send me this kind of scripts, and not because he doesn't want to, because people like presume he won't do it. So he was like, yeah, tell me more, I want to do this.
Well, I thank you for indulging me because I was very curious about the actors and their performances in this, and thank you for going through that with me. Just want to remind our listeners that we're speaking with Juan González and Fernando Martínez, and they are the co-directors of this remarkable, amazing, funny film called The Fantastic Golem Affairs. And I want to talk about the filmmaking for a few minutes here because your set designs are great in terms of setting a mood, setting up what's going to happen. I love the camera work. You move through this film like it's almost a soundstage. There's a sort of soundstage quality to the internal stuff where you break walls, you move the camera around in a way that again puts us in this other place, this other sort of alternate reality, alternate universe that we inhabit. So congratulations on that part of the film. The filmmaking is really, really good in this film in terms of setting a mood, setting a sort of again, this universe that we're now living in through the film.
Well, thank you very much. The thing is, when we were planning how to shoot this film, we, as we said before, like we said, we have to set this story in a world that you know that it's not actually real, but we have to establish the codes. Like in the beginning, for example, this scene in the rooftop that opens the film.
Yeah.
And then the other sets, we wanted to play with different spaces, with different combinations, and we really love like the old Hollywood classics, and that's the aesthetics that we wanted to achieve. Yeah, that's how we build these sets and build this way of shooting in these places. Like we really wanted to every scene to be like, well, like a piece, and that's how we move around some these sets with different moves of camera. We've never seen, we have a different
Way,
a different way, yeah, of narrating that space, and we built the space thinking of the camera movements that we work with the production designer to make those places like we wanted like this just two walls. For example, in this scene where after the main character had sex with this girl that he knows in a museum, and we just wanted two walls to appear like this Hopper painting.
One of my favorite things in the film was when we go to, I don't want to give too much away here, when we go to an office and we're looking down the hall and we see all of these different things moving in and out of the end of the hall where we're seeing, I'll say people, in quotes, moving back like it's in my context would be like one of those cafeterias where all the sandwiches when they move around. That's sort of what it looked like. Or Carvana, we have this thing where the cars are on a kind of a big thing. It sort of reminded me of that, and I thought, wow, that is such a clever way to give the sense of what this business is about, what this office is, another way of kind of fleshing out the universe that we're now inhabiting. I love that.
That scene was the moment where the production company said, okay, we don't have any more money, we can't do this. So it's the only thing we did in CGI. It's the only, because we really wanted to do everything for real. Like we we want this golem to break, we want the pianos to fall, and so everything is real, everything is shot, and it's all shot in 16 millimeters, sorry, and we wanted everything to be constructed and everything to be really plastic and like a painter or painting aesthetics. But then when we get to the lift or the elevator, I don't know how to call it,
Yeah.
we wanted to make like this big scenario where an elevator moved and there was like all these statues.
That was like kind of a cathedral.
Yeah.
Yeah. And well, I like it. It was a little lo-fi. You could tell.
Yeah.
I mean, it was obvious what that was, but it fits. It works. I
Well,
mean,
if we cannot do it like the way we want, let's give it a twist. Because if we do it in CGI and it's bad CGI, it's lame. But then if we only can do it in bad CGI, let's make this bad CGI aesthetics. No.
Exactly. So yeah, well, there's so much about the film to recommend. Again, the tone, the acting, all the characters. So you have some interesting, not only interesting performances, but interesting looking people in the film, which again lends itself to something beyond our quote unquote normal life, if you will, in a way. Just there's so many people in the film that really did a great job. You got great performances out of everyone in the film, and congratulations. Now, were you at South by Southwest? Where did this premiere in the U.S.?
It premiered in the
Fantastic
U.S. in
Fest?
Fantastic Fest in Austin, Texas.
Okay.
Because we went, we've been in South by Southwest, but in the Sydney one.
Okay.
I think the premiere in the States was
in Austin,
and we also went to Canada to Fantasia
in Montreal.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's it so far in America.
Well,
yeah.
in Brazil,
In Brazil, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Well,
and now you can see it on cinemas.
Now you can see it in cinemas. The Fantastic Golem Affairs. Congratulations to both of you, the writers and directors of this wonderfully crazy film. That would be Juan González and Fernando Martínez. Thank you so very much for your time. Thank you so much for your creativity and filmmaking. Thank you.
Thank you.
You have been listening to Cinemaphile with Mike Kaspar, the place where you will hear from the best in independent documentary and foreign filmmakers. Please check out our previous interviews as well as upcoming interviews and special programming by going to cinemaphilepod.com. We are also available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube, searchable under Cinemaphile with Mike Kaspar. Until next time, thank you for listening.